Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Guys That Magic. This is Hunter.
Dave.
And here we are thinking, oh, we're going into the weekend. There's not going to be any spoilers. Oh, today's Sunday, May 30th, 2021. I figured, we got a little bit of spoilers on Saturday. We can just add them to a Monday video if they do spoilers on Monday. But no, they're just continuing. So we've got like a whole bunch, not a whole bunch, but we got some pretty tasty ones to talk about. First things first, let's talk about Arkana Cruelty. That is 2 black, 6 generic mana for a 6/6. It is a flyer. It says whenever Arkana Cruelty enters the battlefield or attacks, target opponent sacks a creature or planeswalker, discards a card, and loses 3 life. You draw a card, you gain 3 life. Sounds pretty good.
Sounds like it does a lot and it costs a lot.
Costs a lot, but once it gets down... Alright, I'll take this from the EDH standpoint. I like it.
I don't.
No? Why?
No, not even a little bit from an EDH standpoint. This thing costs 8 mana.
And?
In EDH, you have the whole wide world of Magic. If you are casting an 8 mana spell, you need to win the game. This doesn't win the game. It's just a big creature.
Okay, you think about it as a 8 mana drop. You think about it as cheating it in.
All right. Then why am I not cheating in something else that's just going to win me the game?
I mean, this is a pretty good thing to cheat it and have it mess up your opponents pretty well.
No, messes up target opponent. It only hits 1.
Yeah, but you can continue to attack different people.
That's also assuming that somebody was just going to let this thing sit and play. I don't know, man. I'm not high on cards like this. I look at it like, this is cool, and I understand that why this is in this set. They're trying to really push this like non-legendary based reanimation. And I think within a draft or limited archetype, like in draft, that's cool. And if for sealed, that's fine. If you want to go and you want to play that. Outside of that, though, for a constructed format, I don't see this seeing any kind of play. And I'm going to include that in EDH. It's really expensive for a body that potentially, I mean, it makes your opponent discard a card and it hits them for 3. Or I'm sorry, it drains them for 3 since you're going to be gaining that 3 life. And I guess it cantrips too, but still, I don't care.
But why is this a reanimation?
Because you're not going to be spending 8 mana on this, so how else is the thing getting into play? You have to cheat it in somehow.
Okay. I gotcha. So so I'm getting the sense that you love this card.
Yeah, 5 out of 5.
Perfect.
This is, to me, this is a showcase card of like, they really want to push a set where they're like, oh yeah, we're going to make a modern Horizons. We're going to make like a modern Masters set where it's just going to be pushing directly to that format. And they print a lot of cards like this that I don't think ever actually stand a chance of really being in the format, nor do I think that really have a chance of being played outside of that format either. And this sucks because this one's a mythic. I feel like this is just going to be in the set because that one person at your pool or at the draft pool who's trying to play reanimation has a good target. And I mean, this thing, once again, like I said, it's a mythic. You're not going to see this very frequently. I guess. Don't know. I wish that they would design sets less so focused on draft and more so focused on, I guess, the original intention of the set. And I feel like the original intention for this one being how can you make cards playable in modern, or like to support maybe some archetypes that are a little bit more fringe or tier 2, but I don't see a whole lot of that. Okay, given that, we've gotten 1 or 2 good cards. We got a good Merfolk card, but aside from that, I feel like a lot of the cards from this set that are going to see play, most of them are already just going to like slot into a tier 1 deck. It's not, I don't know. I don't like this card.
All right. Well, we'll just move on. Just say David's 5 out of 5 on this card. We got Necrogoif. That is 2 black, 3 generic mana for a star 4. Necrogoif's power is equal to the number of creature cards in all graveyards. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player discards a card. It also has Madness for 1 generic, 2 black. It's a new Goif, David. What do you think?
Same thing as the last card. I don't like these.
5 out of 5. Got it.
Yeah.
Why don't you like it?
So it's 5 mana, which means that this thing is incredibly slow and it's just a big beater. It's honestly really not even a huge beater, but whatever, that's fine. So you're probably not going to hard cast it. Now it does have madness on this, but
Mhm.
I don't know. My mind whenever it goes to madness is like, okay, well, what decks are going to be playing this? And my first thought here was like, okay, well, maybe this could be something that like Hollow One might want to play around with. But even at that, I mean, Hollow One lost Faithless Looting. I don't even know if that's really even a deck anymore. And to be completely honest, since Faithless Looting left the format, since it got banned, I don't imagine that it still is. It's just kind of where my mind went on this, is like that kind of a style of deck, of which the cards that are going to be discarding things still cost a mana. So this would still be probably a 4-drop. Because if you're going to like Burning Inquiry, this still costs 4 mana, which getting a star 4 for 4, it's not that great.
Okay. How about in EDH?
In EDH, so we have Mortivore, which is a black and a black, which is another Lorgoith. It has the same kind of ability on it. So it's like it's the star power and toughness, except for that one actually can get a big booty, whereas this one is limited at 4. So it costs 1 less, and it also has an ability on it where you can regenerate it. This is a card that's already available in Commander and in black, same creature type and everything. And that card sees no play whatsoever. So I don't see why Necrogoif would see play. I mean, the discarding thing, it's cool. You're going to be discarding yourself too. So like if you are playing around with a Madness deck, which I'm assuming if you're going to be putting this in the deck, you're going to be playing with Madness. Like at least it gives you that trigger, but it's going to be giving you a trigger at the beginning of your upkeep. So there are some timing restrictions with this. It's not like you're going to be doing anything super crazy whenever your opponents aren't anticipating it.
Yeah. I mean, it does hurt. Necrogoif does hurt if you don't get rid of it quick enough, and essentially pumps itself. If one of your opponents discards a creature card and it pumps Necrogoif, it's pretty cool.
I'm going to throw it out there, and this just kind of goes for all creatures. It's like, I don't like creatures that are just big dumb beaters.
I know you don't.
It has to have something on it that's going to be able to push that damage through. Because aside from that, I just read it as like, this says get chump blocked just indefinitely.
Hey, but if you're going up against 3 other people, I mean, I guess people have to chump block it, but I don't know, man. It seems kind of cool. I get it that Mortivore is available already, but it just does a little extra for that 1 mana extra. I don't know.
I don't think that
It
it
seems
does.
cool.
I think it has a smaller body and costs more.
I mean little extra as in at the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player discards a card.
True. I don't know. I don't think that's a big deal.
Hmm.
You're playing a format where you could literally be drawing 30 cards a turn. Having to pitch one is really not that crazy.
All right, moving on. What do we got next, David?
All right, so next up we have Nettle Cyst, which is 3 generic mana for an artifact equipment. It has a living weapon and also states that equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact and or enchantment you control. It has equip of 2. What are your thoughts on this?
I think it's dope. This is pretty cool. I like this a lot. If you're running a artifact deck, then this is huge. Or an enchantment deck.
Yeah, I mean, it's in like the draft archetype that we've seen so far, it seems like a kind of like an equipment matters type, like put just a shit ton of equipment onto a creature, load it up and swing. And this is definitely going to make it big.
Oh yeah. I mean, imagine decks that are making a bunch of food tokens or treasure tokens, stuff like that. This gets it +1/+1 for all of those.
I know, and it counts itself too. So the very bare minimum, you're going to be getting +1/+1.
Yep, I think it's a dope card. But sounds like you're on board with this card, even though you hate big dumb beaters.
I'm not actually on board with this card.
Why?
I see the upside in this, and I want to say within like a draft archetype, this card is dope. However, because I mean, you can just throw this down, play it on a flyer. That way, you can actually be able to swing in. The living weapon part, I don't really care so much about that 0/0 germ. It's more like, what else can I equip this to? For it being only 3 mana as well, it's number one, you don't have to worry about splashing it because any deck can throw this in. And then number two is, I don't know. I feel like for its overall mana value only being at 3, this thing can get really, really big, really, really quickly, so long as you are building around it and you have enough artifacts and enchantments. For Modern, my thought on this is like, okay, what deck wants to play something like this? And I can't think of one. My first thought would be like, okay, well, this it's not as good as like Cranial Plating. So I don't think an artifact-based deck would want to run one of these over something like Cranial Plating. I don't really see a home for it. In EDH, same kind of thing. I mean, it's a cool effect if you are running a lot of artifacts or a lot of enchantments. You could potentially make your creature very large. And if you're going with a Voltron strategy, this could totally be a very, very good tool for you. I think that still fits in with kind of a very specific play pattern, a very specific deck. Now, unlike some of the other artifacts that we've talked about in this set, some of the other equipments that we've talked about in this set, I think this one can be fitted or can be slotted into a lot of different other kinds of decks. I know that yesterday we talked about like that one that you have to pay 7 mana to equip, which is like you specifically have to be playing like those Boros equipment decks. This one, I don't think that you do. It's just whenever you start to look at these kinds of pump effects, whether it be from an equipment or something else, I feel like there are a lot of different options already out there. So I don't know if this makes the cut or if this is just something that I'm going to look at and I'm going to consider and potentially cut later on if I am playing like a Voltron style deck or if I am really big on those artifacts. I don't know. Time will tell on this one.
I think it's dope. Artifact decks, enchantment decks, I think it finds a home. One of the newest commanders, Osgear the Reconstructor, I think this fits in very well as it's not a legendary artifact. It's pretty cool. He can make 2 of them if it's ever in the graveyard, which is dope.
Yeah, they'll come in as creatures, or they'll come in equipped to the 0/0 germs for the living weapon. So, I mean, like I said, there are play patterns. There are decks of which this can be good in. It's just it just doesn't scream like, okay, I need to go and buy one of these or pick one of these up.
Screams that to me, man. I want to put it in Osgear.
Alrighty.
All right. Let's talk about this card, David. This is I think you love this card. Tell me what it is.
I think you think I love all of these cards today. I think I'm going to surprise you with my lack of love.
What is this card?
This card is Moderation. It is 1, a white and a blue for an enchantment. It says you can't cast more than 1 spell each turn. And whenever you cast a spell, draw a card. All right. Help me understand what I'm supposed to do with this.
I don't know, man. Like, it helps you draw cards, but it's so dumb. I hate this card. I put this up on our Instagram as one of our spoilers, and some random person wrote, "That's actually pretty dope." And I was like, "What? Show me." I don't know how he sees that.
Look, if your favorite like go-to card is like, what is it, like Rule of Law, and like you just jam that in all of your EDH decks just because that's the play pattern you like to play, then go for it. This doesn't do anything if you've already got a Rule in Law in play. It doesn't have a downside for you because you're already only casting 1 spell per turn. And whenever you cast a spell, you draw a card. So that's dope. I think that this thing actually does get better if you're trying to play like some kind of control deck in EDH, because it says you can only cast 1 spell each turn, not on like each turn cycle or anything like that. So if you're casting spells on your opponent's turn, you're cantripping off of them, you're drawing cards. I can see like some super oddball thing that you can do with this. At the same time, I never want to be limited to only being able to cast 1 spell per turn.
Yeah, me neither, man. It's a super weird card.
Yeah. Really strong upside, really strong downside. So like,
there's definitely going to be some people that try to build around this. They're going to try. Good luck.
Yeah.
All right, let's just move on, dude. Next up, we got Cursed Totem. Cursed Totem is a reprint. It is 2 generic mana for an artifact. It says activated abilities of creatures can't be activated. Sounds pretty good in Modern.
I don't know. So I know that this card sees quite a bit of EDH play. If you're playing any kind of like controlling or stacks deck, this is great. And I'm super stoked on the reprint because this card definitely needed one. Its last printing was, I don't know, forever ago. Um, so I don't know how to feel about this card because I looked it up and I was like, okay, what kind of creatures in Modern does this actually shut down? And of the top like 10 most played creatures in the format, this shuts down 2. And it doesn't do anything at all to the other 8. So it stops mana dorks, which is great if you're playing up against like an elves deck. Congratulations, you just sideboard this in, and I think you win. Um, I know that Walking Ballista absolutely hates this card. But there are a lot of cards in Modern, a lot of creatures that kind of surprise me that genuinely don't care about this card. It doesn't affect them. So I don't know how much of an impact it would have in the format. It's definitely going to be a sideboard piece at absolute best, but I don't know.
I think it's dope. Like you said before, it's definitely a much needed reprint. The last reprint was in Mirage, which has the old art, old border. So I'm very excited for this because, as you know, I hate old art, old borders. So this is great. I love this, and it's those what I just named old art, old border. They're $26 a card. So this is going to push it down a little bit.
It's a good card, and I do 100%. I think that this needed a reprint. This is a great card in EDH. It's just for Modern specifically. I don't know. I don't know if it has a whole lot of potential there or a whole lot of home. Next up, we'll talk about a card that everybody and their mom is going to be running in Modern for the next couple of months, though. What do we got?
You tell me, dude. This is your favorite card. I'll let you take the controls.
Oh, it is one of my favorite cards. At least one of my favorite cards that we've gotten to see from this set so far. So another reprint, or at least this one is new to Modern, is Shardless Agent. This is a green and a blue. It is a 2/2 with Cascade.
That's it.
Yep. one simple word on this card, but God, that makes it so powerful.
Why is that, Dave?
So casting stuff for free has never been broken before, ever in the history of Magic.
You want
Casting
to tell
stuff
people
for
what
free.
Cascade means first?
So whenever you get whenever you cast this card, you get to reveal cards from the top of your library until you come across one that has CM or mana value less than this card, and you get to cast it for free. So that means you get to cast a 0, 1, or 2 drop for free off of this. Casting things for free is one of the most powerful abilities, or one of the most powerful things that you can be doing in the game. You're taking advantage of resources that you kind of don't have. And there are ways to build around these kinds of effects that you can really take advantage of them with. I think whenever we talked about the new tutor, what was it, like profane?
Yeah.
Profane tutor?
Yep.
Profane something? I don't think it actually was called
That's
tutor.
right.
Was it
Yes,
profane
it was.
tutor?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So this is a way, for example, like you can skip that suspend. There's been a couple of other suspend cards that we've seen in this set as well. So anything that has suspend, you don't have to wait on that anymore. It's got 0 mana value, so you just get to cast it immediately. There are a ton of things that you can be doing with this. This card is very reminiscent of Bloodbraid Elf. Bloodbraid Elf is a 4-drop in red and green that also has Cascade. It does have haste, so it has one additional keyword on there as well. But that card was banned in Modern for a very long time. I think Shardless Agent is better than Bloodbraid Elf. And I know that there were a lot of people that were really, really excited whenever Bloodbraid Elf got unbanned. So to see Shardless Agent come into the format, I think that this is definitely going to see play.
Do you think people will build around it enough where Wizards will have to think about banning it?
I don't think that they would ban this card. I know that there is an as foretold deck in Modern that this will 100% slot into immediately. I don't know if Wizards would end up banning something, nor do I know if this would be the target. They typically don't ban cards that are still in print and making them money.
Yeah. Well, sometimes they got to do it if it's broken. So, but I have seen a lot of people excited about this card being in Modern. So
Yeah, this is
we'll
I don't think we have the English version of this, but I mean it's one of those things where it's like I was at the gym this morning and just kind of scrolling through Reddit and I saw this thing pop up and immediately just based on the artwork, I was like, okay, I know exactly what this card is. Without without having to do without having to look at the CMC on this thing, without having to look at anything else, just based on the artwork, I was like, okay, Shardless Agent is now in Modern.
Yeah. Well, I'll ask the question again. It's only the weekend. We got a bit of spoilers. Do you think this set is still living up to the hype?
Okay, I feel like that's kind of hard to answer because help me out here. What's the so I got on yesterday. I got on the internet yesterday to go and check like how much a box costs of this set to give me an
Uh-huh.
idea as to like, okay, what is the actual like value holding at? The one with the squirrel, is that the set booster or is that the
Those are
draft
sets.
booster?
Those are set boosters. Right now, they're currently
I
cheapest
think
you
that's
can get on
set.
TCG is
Okay.
$277.
Okay, that's what I saw on Amazon yesterday too. So going for $270. There have been a lot of very powerful rares and mythics that I do think are going to hold a pretty decent price tag in this set. There are also a lot of rares and mythics in this set that I think are complete duds. So I feel like this may very well be one where it's like you open up a pack, and depending on how expensive this thing is, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if you're spending $10 a pack and you can open like $2 worth of cards, or you can open $30 worth of cards. So I think this is going to have a lot of variance and a lot of volatility in it, especially within the next couple of months, as we start to see what does see play and what doesn't see play.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I bought my set booster box kind of right after, I think it was right after when they announced the fetches. I was like, all right, that sounds pretty cool. So I bought it at $249, and now it's all the way up to $277. So I jumped in at the right time. But yeah, this set, spoilers have been good for this set, man. It's been real good.
I think as a whole, yes. I'm still gonna stand by my statement though. It's like there are definitely some rares in here that I don't want to open. I mean, we just got done talking about moderation, for example, of like that is a rare in this set.
Yeah, no thanks. I don't want that card. But you'll open that as a foil. I guarantee it.
Oh, I know, dude. Always, this is how I do pre-releases. Like you take a list of like what are the six worst rares in a set, and I will open those up for each one of my rares in a sealed pool. And
Yeah.
sometimes, if I'm especially lucky, I'll get duplicates of them.
Well, you're gonna get lucky. I feel it. Moderation, it's all yours, buddy.
There you go. Actually, you know what? Moderation and duplicates would probably be dope because you can only cast one spell per turn. And then if you have like 4 of these in play, every time I cast a spell, I'm going to draw like 4 cards.
That's
All right,
great.
I changed my mind. This card is OP. We need to ban it.
Run 2 of them in your deck.
Yep.
All right, guys, that concludes today's spoilers. Let us know if you have similar thoughts as us down in the comments down below. If you don't, let us know as well. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Guys at Magic on both. This is Guys at Magic. Later.
Later.